Today I'm reading aloud Wikipedia's production history of this classic, very classic, Doctor Who serial, The Sea Devils. Working titles for this story included The Sea Silurians. Because of the story's location, filming requirements, it was allocated the second slot in the production run for Doctor Who's 9th season so as to allow filming in October. However, to alternate the stories between those set on Earth and those set on other worlds, it was transmitted third in the season. This was the first time stories were produced out of transmission order. The serial was mainly filmed around Portsmouth, HM Naval Base Portsmouth, No Man's Land Fort, and the Isle of Wight and HMS Reclaim. The earlier Doctor Who and the Silurians had resulted in many letters from scientists and geologists who argued that it was impossible for a reptilian life form to have existed in the Silurian period. In this story, the Doctor admits that the name Silurian is inaccurate and that states they should more properly be called Eocenes. The Royal Navy waived royalty fees on the use of stock footage and clips showing ships in action, happy with on-screen credits and the positive publicity generated by the show. Many sailors volunteered to help with the filming so that most of the extras during the sequence at the naval base were actual service personnel, except in some of the stunts. In the first episode, the script called for Joe Grant and the Doctor to climb up a ladder to get into a sea fortress. The ladder proved too slippery for Katie Manning, so stuntman Stuart Fell did the shot dressed as Grant. The model of a submarine was created by purchasing a Woolworths submarine model kit and then altering the propeller. By chance, the alterations as to the model strongly resembled an actual prototype submarine being developed by the Ministry of Defence. After footage of the model was broadcast as part of the story, director Michael Briant received a visit from two naval intelligence officials who were concerned about where the visual effects team got the plans for the model. When the wiping of episodes ceased in 1978, it was discovered that the first 3 episodes had only survived as black and white telerecordings made for overseas sales. In the early 1980s, NTSC transfers of all 6 episodes were returned from broadcasters in Canada. These are converted back to the original PAL format. The BBC Radiophonic Workshop's Malcolm Hulke composed the incidental music for the story. It was his first contribution to the series and was notably more experimental than the series' usual scores by freelance composer Dudley Simpson. Clark's score was entirely electronic, created on the Radiophonic Workshop's EMS Synphy 100 synthesizer. His score for the serial has been described as startling in its range of obtrusive electronic timbres and relative melodic paucity, mixed music and sound effects, and presented uncomfortable sounds to a substantial early evening audience on Saturdays in a way not duplicated in Britain before or since. The music was presented as a suite on the 1983 LP Doctor Who The Music, and was released in full on the 2000 compilation album Doctor Who at the BBC Radiophonic Workshop Volume 2, New Beginnings 1970 to 1980. Parts of the incidental music, as well as a line of dialogue, were sampled by Orbital on their track Doctor Look Out.